Hello, yo, welcome to the channel. It's Radko from Radko Tarot. And in this whole video, we're going to look into Aries Sun, Moon, and also Aries Rising. A weekly general tarot reading March 7th or March 8th. I'm sorry, so it's March 8th to March 14th, 2021. And if you find yourself interested in a personal reading with me, or if you do want to take my tarot classes, you can check out the description down below, and there you're going to find a link to my website where you can view and as well purchase either or both of these services. So with that being set aside, moving to the Aries reading of the week, the first card that we do have for you guys, that is going to be the Five of Swords. Moving next, we have the Four of Wands. Afterwards is going to be the Sun card. The fourth one for you, that will be the Five of Cups. And the last card for the week for you, Aries, we have the Ace of Wands. So these five cards. Just hold on a second. Right, so the start of the week for you here with the Five of Swords, that is not going to be a bad start, giving the rest of the cards. Thankfully, I know them, but the five of Swords here for you guys, it kind of points the urgency of the situation that is going to be in front of you, in a sense of that, you know, you have reached that far that going backwards or leaving it behind or whatever is not an option at that particular point. And the Five of Swords here represents the tenacity you're going to have at the start of the week to get the things done, to get the things to their very end. As well, the card is going to make you very suspicious, in a sense of that you are going to be very, very careful whom you are placing your trust at, knowing that at that stage the stakes over either your relationship or over either your career, you know, or whatever you are trying to pull through, are way too high, so you are to leave them into someone else's hands or to gamble with them as well, with the people that you may find at that stage, at least, you know, a faithful companions. It is the best thing that how I can classify them. And while I'm not saying right now that you may have hidden enemies, you know, or antagonists out there, it will be best if you are conservative about how do you place your trust into people around, because even unconsciously, or not unconsciously, but with no ill intention, I will say it, someone may screw up with you and betray your trust that way without them even aiming to do so. It's just they may say something out of place in front of somebody else about you that they may think it's not a big deal, but actually it is a big deal. So for your own personal preservation, it will be best if you do, like I said, you know, you are careful where to place your trust at. Another thing about the Five of Swords at the start of the week is that as the stakes are going to be high, the competition also is going to become a little bit more aggressive. A competition, for example, a competitor for the same suitor you're trying to get into a relationship with, you know, a competitor for the place that you're striving for, or competitor to show, you know, that they're better than you are at your job. So these competitors, they will become, like I said, a little bit more aggressive here with the Five of Swords, and thus the game that they're playing with here with this card is through a humiliation. So yeah, it's likely that at that stage at the start of the week, so or kind of like with a goal or with an aim, you pull yourself away from what you want to develop, people may try to humiliate you, and that is your rivals and your enemies, the competition. But luckily for you, and of course to their detriment, it doesn't look like that they will be able to do so. It is because the second card we do have, that is going to be the Four of Wands. And this is where you as the stakes are high, this is where you do live up to the high stakes, and I cannot say that you reach the culmination of things here with the Four of Wands. Cannot say that you have completed or manifested the idea or the goal, but the Four of Wands, it is where you do successfully complete the cycle of development, which is the very least a milestone that's it pretty much makes you safe and secure, and it gives you a checkpoint. And that will be because you Aries have undertook, or rather like you have paid attention, and what was the English word, guys? um, okay, so we're going to lose undertook because I can't remember the other one. So you have undertook to utter perfection the important matters of the endeavor, the important matters that are about the project, the important matters that are about your family, the important matters that are about your suitor or a person of interest, whatever. And a good progress is to be accomplished, and this is in the very early stages of the week. However, like I said, with the Four of Wands, things are far from being over, things are far from being culminated and done to their utter limits. So while it will be a good thing at that stage, to take up your breath, to catch up your breath, enjoy a little bit, the accomplishments and the achievements that you have put it thus far, the Four of Wands also points that you are going to start accumulating energy, and this energy needs to be released in a accurate, or should I say productive, fulcrum. So think about at that point, the hard toils that you have placed over your endeavor, and think about how those hard toils or tough toils or whatever can produce results. How can you translate them into the future? How can you step on them as a foundation and even build further than that? And that's all that the Four of Wands here for you is all about, that you strive for victory, and victory is what you're going to have. But this victory is not victory over the war, it's just a victory over the battle. The war is far from over, war quote unquote is far from over, and you have to prepare yourself for the next battle. But you do have an edge here. You do have more leverage than the others, than your rivals, than your competitors, or in generally toward the people that doesn't want to see you prevailing. And right after that, we do have the Sun card, and this is a continuation to your accomplishments and to your achievements. And the Sun here points that whatever you are stepping on here with the first two cards, the hard push you did and so on and so forth, it has an amazing expanding energies to grow. So it's that's a card saying here, Aries, that you have the right thing, right? That what you have accomplished, or whatever choices you made or whatever actions you took, these were the right thing for you to do, as you are now going to start growing naturally into your career and into your relationships as well. Also, the Sun card pretty much points that aside from these, which doesn't want to see you growing up, everybody else is going to be happy for you, and you can expect at that stage with the Sun card many arguments that were in between you and faithful companions, that were in between you and beloved people, to simply become completely irrelevant, because at this stage of the week, everybody is going to focus on what makes them happy. Everybody is going to be focused on what makes them cheerful as well and exhilarated. And what is common for the Sun card, it is that people start contributing for each other's happiness, and that's why arguments and fights pretty much loses relevance, because they make nobody happy. And therefore, as you do contribute, say for your wife's happiness or for your husband's happiness, all right, they also do the same thing, and thus the whole family gets happy. Same thing, it's applicable for a work environment where you do contribute for your colleagues' happiness, they contribute for your happiness, and thus everybody is happy, aside from those that are your rivals though. And with the Sun card here, as you do have it, it will be a best to, how can I say, to instead of forcing the situation through, which is going to be accurate for the start of the week, okay, but once you do accomplish the checkpoint or the milestone, you should stop forcing the situation, but instead you need to start believing, or kind of like let yourself to the natural unfoldments of the situation itself, which the Sun pushes through. And right after these amazing times, we do have here the Five of Cups, and that is the continuation of the natural unfoldment. And the Five of Cups pretty much represents the unnecessary things into the situation itself. You know, the situation in between you and your person of interest, for example, or within your family, whatever. It does represent the unnecessary things there. And as beforehand, the situation was forced because it needed to be. And now, as the milestone is accomplished and now the situation unfolds naturally, many things that have been, or not many, some things, let's say, that have been forced through are to appear to be unnecessary. And here, the disappointment that the Five of Cups really represents for you, Aries, is the disappointment of why I have not seen that beforehand, and you waste your time or you waste your resources, you know, to push them through as they need to be left behind, as these circumstances or these aspects of the situation needs to be left behind. Now, it's very important here not to indulge yourself with the doom and gloom vision, okay? But instead take it as a lesson, take it as a how can I say, that they were necessary, these aspects were necessary back then at the start of the week, but now as they have served their purpose, they are no longer necessary, and that's why they need to be left behind. They need to be how can I say, forlorn, abandoned. And it's important here with the Five of Cups energy to remember your goal, to remember what you want for your family, for yourself, for your career, you know, but what you do want, okay? Not what your boss wants, not what your wife wants, not what your husband wants, not what your boyfriend wants, or not what your person of interest wants. What do you want? And is your environment being able to provide for it? That is what is important here with the Five of Cups. And whatever you decide that you do want, you should not deviate or strain from this path or from this idea, no matter what. That's the importance, because like I said, you have to drop certain things that you have pushed through at the start of the week. You will have to drop them behind, and it will feel like a loss, it will feel like a disappointment. But with the Five of Cups, the disappointment is always a temporary one, the loss is always a partial one, and you shouldn't allow those losses to pollute, I would say it that way, to pollute the goal that you do have, whatever that goal is, because the Sun and the Five of Cups here, it's pretty much points that it is accomplishable for as long as, you know, you allow it to unfold naturally. And if the natural process, for example, wants you and your person of interest to spend some time on your own, without, you know, maintaining that much of a connection in between one another, then that is what you got to do. If the natural process of your career requires you to, for example, change your job, leave the current one because it no longer serves any purpose to you, and you have to just start looking for another one, then it's what you have to do. And there is no point commiserating yourself, there is no point indulging yourself with the loss, should there be one. There is no point to be, how can I say, to be disappointed, for what is done is done. And the end of the week here is with the Ace of Wands. And these two cards, the Sun and the Five of Cups, were somewhat of a preparation for you. Because at the end of the week here, you are going to face a very gainingful enterprise, very, very gainingful opportunity, all right? And this gaining for enterprise, this opportunity, it will look very strange to you, for it will contain aspects that you are not very used to. The Ace of Wands is like the spark of inspiration. It's going to maintain your interest into it, but in the same time, you at the start of it, at least at the very initial stage, you may not feel like um, you are up to the job. You may not feel like you have what it takes. Although this is quite of an illusionary and fallacious feeling and vision, because the Ace of Wands usually makes you uncover talents, it makes you uncover states as well for yourself that you had embedded in you, but you had no idea you possess. And the Ace of Wands throws you into this uncomfortable zone at the start, though. And although we cannot say that it's really uncomfortable, let's say vague zone, so you can uncover those talents. And yeah, the Ace of Wands could refer to pretty much everything: the new project, the new clients, the new person that you may fall in love with, the new enterprise into the family, the new place that you may find to live. It could refer to anything. So whatever you take as a gaining for enterprise, as a gaining for opportunity, everything falls under the classification of the Ace of Wands. But one is certain here: at the end of the week, you're going to be very excited. You are going to be happy, I could say, and you are going to look forward for what the future holds, because it will look like very, very promising to you, Aries. So that being said, guys, this was your weekly general tarot reading. Hopefully you do enjoy it and you do liked it, and we are to see each other next time. Until then, bye.